Alright, hey guys, remember CCG back in the video. With this video, I'm going to be testing the new EXODIA support. I'm going to be showing you 4 combos that I found, and I want you guys to let me know if you have any other combos in mind that you think will work and want me to test out. Then I can definitely do that in part 2 of this video. There will not be a deck list just because, as you can see, I'm just running 3 of everything of the new support. It's just me kind of testing everything. But we're going to get started here. And this is kind of the ideal conditions in which you have the Millennium Cross, so you can use the effects of your Millennium monsters without having to pay the 2000 life points, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to normal summon or special summon out our, or set it as a spell in the spell and trap zone, the golem that guards the Millennium treasures, and then from there, because we have Millennium Cross, we can reveal it, bring it out, and then use the effect here in order to search out the Shrine of yugioh. And then with the Shrine of yugioh, we can actually put one of our monsters in our hand in the spell and trap zone, and then put another one from the deck onto the zone. And this is great because we can target whatever Millennium monster we're missing, and in this case it's going to be Millennium Dynasty, or Shield the Millennium Dynasty, and use the effect here in order to search out another Millennium Cross. Then we can get ourselves out the Caveman that awoke after a Millennium, uses the effect in order to search out our Millennium Moon Maiden, and it just gives you a little bit of interaction during your opponent's turn, just because it's going to give you protection for your EXODIA monster. And just make sure you get everything out before you use your Millennium Cross. So we're going to get everything here, Spell and Trap Zone, then use Millennium Cross, get ourselves out the Phantom EXODIA Incarnate. And then during the end phase here, we can get ourselves our Raging Hellfire Exodo Flame. So just keep in mind that with the Millennium Cross, after you use this card, to activate this card, we have to actually shuffle any face-up monsters we control that are not EXODIA monster cards, Millennium monster cards. So you just need to keep that in mind, that you're not going to be able to use any other generic support, at least in the first turn. And you're going to see in the combos video just how you can kind of play around that a little bit. But for now, this is definitely going to be the way. You just want to set up with the pure Millennium support. And the trap that we have here is Raging Hellfire Exodo Flame. And this card's really good because if you control level 10 or higher EXODIA monster, you can actually destroy all cards your opponent controls. That's just generic blank explosion. And then we have EXODIA Incarnate as a spell trap negate, and it cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. And of course, when our opponent activates an effect, we can summon out Millennium Maiden, and this will make it so our EXODIA here cannot be targeted by effect. Pretty good protection all around. So you're going to see we're going to summon out the Maiden. Let it just play out a little bit, set up the board a bit, and then I'm going to just wipe the board eventually. So here you're going to see me use the Spell Trap Negate in the form of the Phantom EXODIA Incarnate. Negate that effect. And then we can actually use the Raging Hellfire Exodo Flame to get rid of everything. And then we just get to set another trap. So that's pretty great, because you're going to see here in the next turn, you do have to pay 1000 life points, so keep that in mind. And then we can just use Exodo Blaze here in order to target our EXODIA fusion monster and just attach a bunch of the Forbidden One monsters onto it. And that'll make it so it gains 2000 attack for each one. Just remember, once you do this, you're not going to be able to activate any other effects. So you really got to do this at the end if you're planning to do this. I'm just showing this here because these are ideal conditions to really just finish your opponent with a bunch of your EXODIA monsters. And it's pretty cool. You're able to just set up your board with the EXODIA cards. But let's go to the next combo that I have for you guys. Alright guys, so the next combo that I have for you, I wouldn't say is ideal, but you don't have Millennium Cross, but you can still kind of get to it with a 2-card combo using our Millennium Treasures. And we're essentially going to end off on the same end board that I showed you guys in the previous combo, but we are going to have to pay life points for it. So here we're going to summon out the stone, use the effect here, get ourselves the Shrine of yugioh, use the effect in order to put Caveman that awoke after a Millennium and the shield onto our Spell and Trap Zone, activate the shield, get it out. You just want to go straight into the shield, try to get that Millennium Cross straight to your hand so that you don't have to worry about taking that 2000 damage for each effect after that. But we did have to take 4000 in order to get this because we didn't start with the shield of the Millennium Dynasty. But then we can set ourselves up with the Millennium Moon Maiden and then just get ourselves essentially what we got last time. Now the other option of the trap that you can get out here instead of Exodo Flame is the Obliterate, and Obliterate's pretty decent. You're able to bounce something back and pitch a Forbidden One into the grave, which could be okay, especially if you're able to get out the Incarnate monster that is unaffected by the EXODIA Incarnate that is unaffected by effects. But most of the time you're just going to want to be using Raging Hellfire and search this out just because it's so powerful. And yeah, that's just going to be the basic combo that I showed you guys, the end board that you're going to be seeing a lot. You are going to have to pay 4,000 life points to do this, but it is a way to just fall back into it. Now let's go to the next combo. Alright guys, so with this combo, I'm going to show you guys how you can dodge the Millennium Cross's effect, and we're going to be doing that with Deep Sea Diva. So first, we're going to set up the board that I showed you guys previously. We're just going to get ourselves the Golem, use his effect, search out the Shrine of yugioh, use his effect here, bring out the Millennium Cross, or Millennium Shield, get it out, search out the Millennium Cross, and then we don't have to pay 1,000 anymore. So you can see this is the kind of the standard line you're going to go into, but then after that you can actually go into Deep Sea Diva, use his effect here, get ourselves our level 2 Deep Sea Diva, and then from there we can actually go into our Ciphering Lord Omega, use Lord Omega's effect here, get rid of one card from our opponent's hand, and because of Millennium Cross we do have to shuffle any face-up monsters that don't meet the certain criteria that this card lists. That means we will be losing the Deep Sea Diva. But we were able to take away one card from our opponent, and then next turn we do have a Ciphering Lord Omega that we can do what we want with. So you're going to see, I'm just going to be doing the same thing as I've done before. Just set myself up with the Millennium Maiden. That's going to prevent myself from being targeted. Use Incarnate's effect here, negate whatever spell trap you wish. Use his effect here, get ourselves the Exodo Blaze. That's usually a good way of just kind of ending it. Of course, you don't really need to do that. You could, if you need to, if the conditions are just not there, you can just search up another Exodo Flame or search out our Obliterate. And the nice thing about this card is that you are searching it out during your end phase, so even though it's a trap, you are going to be able to activate it during your next turn. And then see, we have our Ciphering Lord Omega, and we don't have to worry about the conditions because we already have our fusion monster out, so we don't have to worry about that. You just want to make sure you can survive that first turn, and it's honestly not that difficult to do just because you do have a spell trap negate in the form of Incarnate. It can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects, and then you have the Raging Hellfire Exodo Flame, where if you use it at the right time, at the right choke point, you can slow down your opponent by quite a bit, and then Millennium Maiden prevents the target's effects, which is great. And then you're going to see me use Exodo Blaze here. So remember that to use Exodo Blaze, you do need to destroy as many spells and traps in the spell and trap zones as possible. And for that reason, sometimes you're going to have to set your own card if you want to activate it. But if your opponent has a spell or trap card active or set, then you can actually use this in order to pop it and then set all those monsters onto the spell and trap zone here and power them up. Alright guys, but let's go to the final combo that I have for you. Alright guys, so with the final combo that I have for you, I'm going to be showing you guys the standard line. You can see it's the same 3 cards as I've had in the previous combo, but here we're going to wait to use Deep Sea Diva until the next turn, just so that we can really utilize his effects here instead of just summoning out the Omega. So I'm going to be setting myself up with the same thing as I've done before. We're going to get the Golem out here. Use the effect, search out the Shrine of yugioh, use the effect here, set our Caveman and the Millennium Shield onto our spell and trap zone, search out the Millennium Cross so we don't have to take the burn damage anymore, then get ourselves the Millennium Maiden, activate our cross here, get the Phantom EXODIA Incarnate, then set the Exodo Flame, then during our opponent's turn here we can actually activate our effects in order to stop our opponent. So here, a lot of the times it's going to be pretty easy. As long as you're able to play this outright, you can kind of keep your board for the next turn. Just because these monsters are pretty beefy, and not only that, but they have effects that protect them. So the Caveman here has cannot be destroyed by monster effects. The Golem protects your Millennium Cross from being negated. And then you have the Shield of the Millennium that cannot be destroyed by spell or trap effects. So that's great. They have a decent amount of protection, and then with Millennium Maiden, if this card battles a monster, neither of them can be destroyed by battle. So that's great. And of course you have Exodo Flame just to clear out the board. And even if one of them were to be destroyed for some reason, you can use Shrine of yugioh, put it on the spell and trap zone, and then activate it and get them back out. So you're going to see how we're going to be able to utilize these monsters with Deep Sea Diva during our next turn. So here we're going to pay the 1,000 life points. We're going to get rid of the 2 monsters that we don't necessarily need. So in this case, it's going to be Millennium Maiden and Shield the Millennium Dynasty, just because they don't work as like synchro monsters perfectly well. So we're going to get ourselves our IP Masquerena, and that'll allow us to use SP Little Knight during the next turn. Then we're going to get Deep Sea Diva out here, get the second copy of it out. Synchro Summon, because it is a level 8 monster, the caveman, we can get ourselves our bear in the floor. And Synchro Summon into the Sideframe Lord Omega. Then if I want, I could use Exodo Flame. Just, of course, if you use Exodo Blaze, just be careful because you're not going to be able to activate anything else. So if your opponent does anything beyond this, you can't negate it with Bear in the floor. I'm just doing it here to be cheeky. So here, just get a 10,000 attack monster, and then I could attack into it if I'd like. This kind of showing you guys what you can do with this deck. Of course, it's very early on, so I do want to see what else we can do with it. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. I'm willing to test it. I'll be dropping a deck profile when this comes out in the TCG. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.